One of the dedoc voices I just got to know a couple of weeks ago is Lurina Fourie from South Africa. And I would like to now ask her to the stage. Lurina, how are you
Hi,
doing?
Bastian. Very well. How are you?
You are, although very, very far away, South Africa, almost in the same time zone, right? So we're still kind of good in the late afternoon of World Diabetes Day.
Yes, we're still
Lurina,
celebrating all the way.
of course you are. Aren't we all? Lurina, we just met for the first time at the ISPED conference that was just mentioned, one of the major conferences we serve globally. This year it took place in Lisbon. Next year it will be in Montreal in Canada. Every year it's somewhere else. And two things I thought were amazing. You didn't come by yourself, you brought your husband, who we at dedoc would refer to as a person with type F diabetes or type F diabetic, where F stands for family and friends. So we have the type 1s, we have the type 2s, there's also the LADA diabetes and MODI diabetes and many other clinical forms. Others say type 3, but for us, we also have the type F, the family and friends. So you brought your partner. And not only did he come to support you or to visit Lisbon, no, he is a musician and he brought his guitar and he was amazing, not only for our group, but he was just rocking ISPAD, playing live, improvising during the ISPAD Hero Award presentation. We just had Lakshmi here, who you also met there. That was amazing. Thank you for bringing him. Best regards to your husband.
Thank you so much for welcoming him. He loved it.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And I saw that you also did concerts in the middle of the markets of Lisbon there.
Yes, that was a wonderful experience.
The second thing you brought with you was a game. And I was supposed to bring it with me today, and I unfortunately left it at home, but I know we're going to talk about this. And I will hand over to you because my team said it's a bit of a surprise, Bastian. They wouldn't really tell me what's happening now, but they said be ready to just hand over to Lurina and she will take it from there. So that's what I'm doing now.
Fear not, Bastian, fear not. I brought the game along. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. The crowds that I usually speak to are quite intimidating. They are curious. They have many questions, yet they think they know all the answers already. And their favorite word is why. And I call them the 8-year-olds because that is who they are. They are eight years old, between 6 and 12 years old. And I visit their schools, the schools where there are children living with type 1 diabetes. And then I educate the kids about the warning signs of low blood sugar because that's an immediate threat in the classroom, on the playground, while they're playing sports. If a child experiences low blood sugar, the people around them should know what to do. So my whole aim is to create more comfortable environments for people living with diabetes. And that is where the game comes in. I created this game. It's an age-old quacker. I think everyone is familiar with this from when we were back in school. We used to put out the names of all the cute boys on the inside, and then eventually you hope you land on the one you wish to marry. That did not work for me, just saying. That's not how I met my husband. But I diabetified it a bit. So I've created one with all the warning signs of low blood sugar on the inside. So I go to the classroom and then I have this massive one that I take with me. And the kids just love this. It's like taking your puppy to school. Everybody wants to touch it. They want to play with it. And it creates quite a bit of excitement in the classroom. And then usually when the kids living with diabetes see that I'm there, I arrange with the parents and with the principal beforehand. And they are so excited to have someone living with diabetes in their classroom or for the grade. They can't wait to come and stand with me in front in the classroom. And then they get to answer the questions their friends have to ask, or they get to speak about the stigma, because there are many kids not being invited to parties because the parents don't know how to support these children or what to do with the sleepover and the highs and the lows that comes with it. Everyone does not live with sensor technology and things like that. And then the beauty of this is in a fun way, we teach the kids the warning signs, and then after the session, each child receives one of these games and they take it home with them. So they play it in the class with the brothers and the sisters, with the parents, and in a fun way, we crush stigma and we we infiltrate into the households without anyone actually realizing. So if you want to, we can play around. I'm not sure if you can see on my screen.
I can see
Um,
it very well.
okay, great. You can pick any word.
Sorry?
You
I
can
pick
pick
any
any
word
word. Yes.
of those. I mean, the water or the
Yes,
apple
of
or the
these.
banana.
Yes.
I'll go for the apple.
Apple. Then we spell Apple, and then you pick a number.
I see. I'll go for the 8, just to keep you busy.
Biggest one. Then you
Yes.
go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you pick another number,
Okay, I'll go for the 3 now.
3. And then
3.
when you open it up, thank you, behind each number, there is a warning sign of low blood sugar. So
I
number
see
3 will say
feeling,
feeling irritated.
yes, and confusion and
So
dizziness.
we did research within the diabetes community with the parents of children living with diabetes to phrase these words and sentences for them to be able to digest it. They don't know how to say they are nauseous, so they just say they feel funny or they feel strange. So we had to break it down for kids to be able to understand it. But from this, a whole new section actually developed where I was being invited to talk, do academic talks with healthcare professionals and medical students. The university will book me, and then I speak to the professors or the endos and teach them about lived experience from a patient perspective. So I created another version of this about the warning signs of type 2 diabetes, and it was welcomed quite a bit because it's a toy, but it's a tool. I like to say it's a toy, but it's a tool, and it's a game, but it's a game changer. That's the motto I stand by when it comes to this. And just about 3 weeks ago, we also translated the one for type 2 diabetes with the warning signs into isiZulu. That's one of our official. We have 12 official languages in South Africa, and that's been translated to one of our official languages despite English. And then I'm also at the moment, there's one of our universities would like to start using these in their curriculum for their dietitians to teach them the warning signs of DKA, because that's a part where they work with quite seriously. And yeah, that's just an exciting next level. And the beauty of this is, like I said, everybody wants to play with the puppy. So when I usually the host will say, okay, so where's your presentation? And the first time I said, what? And he said, where's your presentation? And I said, well, I am the presentation. And I ripped up the game, and his face just went like blank. And I thought, we're both in trouble. But it's been going very well, and the feedback has been great, and schools are inviting us, and parents. I had so many requests to go to schools today, but there's only one of me, and I can only fold so many games overnight. So we're hoping to expand, obviously. And what's lovely is we can put any information inside. We can focus on low blood sugar or DKA or whatever we want to put into this with regards to diabetes. The sky is the limit.
Wonderful. I love it already. And you see there's comments coming in again from all over the world, from Tazul, from Tom Dean was the first one who is, of course, he's a father, he's a teacher, so he knows a lot about schools, and he is the host of
Yeah.
Diabetes Chat, one of the largest chat-based, Twitter-based diabetes platforms in the UK. And there's a lot
Okay.
of more comments coming here.
Wonderful.
So amazing. It's and you gave me the tiny version thereof, and I have it.
Yes, the baby
But
one for the small little hands, for the kitty's hands.
exactly. But I love that it's actually something that you use with classes, etc. So I understand correctly. You go to schools throughout South Africa, you yourself,
Yes.
and then engage the classroom, engage everybody who's there, the 80 years old.
That's right. Yes, that's right. We organize with the parents and we orchestrate with the school. We need permission from the school and the class teacher and the parents, and the child must be comfortable. So it's a big organization to get to the point to put my feet into the classroom, but then I go to the school and I do the talk. It's a 20 to 30 minute talk that we have. The kiddies are small, so we can't really talk for hours. And also, I'm not interested in teaching kids all the info about hormones and your pancreas because it's a system overload for them. They will learn that later in life, and their friends can teach them about it. But if a child sits in the classroom or he's playing tennis and he's having a low blood sugar, that's an immediate threat. It can lead to a coma or death, and we need to be able to respond immediately and with confidence. So call a teacher, call a more mature age child, call a parent, but do something. You can't just let the child sit there. And if you see your friend is always up and about, but suddenly he's lying on his arms in the class, you know your friend. Reach out and ask whether this child is okay, and you can initially save a life.
And what I love about it, I mean, you said you're now doing it, you're going into the classrooms, but basically the game is, I mean, that's something I remember from my childhood. Like it's not,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was exactly the same, but basically that everybody will understand that in a split second,
Yes.
even an 8 years old, right? It's a kind of thing. And then the amount of information is important. You curated it, but it is limited. So I guess if a kid plays that with his friend or brother or mom at home for, I don't know, 10, 15 times, then
Mm.
it'll be memorized, right?
Exactly. My favorite part is when I'm done with my talks, the teacher usually hands it out and they'll have a break time and we pack up the sound system and we do our final goodbyes. And when I walk out, the whole playground is playing with this game. I only gave out 40 or 50 in the classroom, but they're all bundling up and circling, and that makes me the happiest person on earth because it's one game but it's a crowd puller. So it's 4 to 5 kids getting together and they interact and they engage. Whether they know the child living with diabetes doesn't even matter at that stage, but they are learning the information. And if they throw it away after a week, that's fine, but they'll remember the information because they'll be
Yeah.
folding this for many years to come, and they'll always think of the one about diabetes awareness.
And and you just mentioned one other very important point that almost got lost is that, there may be, I assume you're going to a school or a class where there is a child with diabetes in a class, and maybe that's just one, or
Yes.
maybe that's two in a school, but very often, at least here in Germany, there's this one child in the class. And that one child already feels sometimes isolated, lonely, different, of course, and stigmatized. We talked about the End Diabetes Stigma campaign. But
Yes.
apart from learning for that child, it will be also teaching the friends, others in the class, or the whole class, or even the whole school, just by playing and helping to break the stigma, because it creates awareness amongst the whole environment. That is amazing.
Thank you so much. What usually happens is I open the floor and the kids can ask any diabetes related question. So that's a very difficult area to tread in because they come with the weirdest things that they say. And if the one raises his hand, he'll say, "My grandfather had diabetes." Then suddenly everyone's grandparents had diabetes, and the hands just pop up. So I need to manage them accordingly. But sometimes the parents, they wouldn't want me to go and speak to the schools. I've had a situation where there were 3 children with type 1 diabetes in the school, and 2 parents said yes, and the one mom said no. I should not put any spotlight on a child. It's not even an option. I must just not even mention anything. And when I stood in front, I usually start by saying, who of you can count to one? And then all the hands go up, and they're like, obviously they can all count to one. That's a silly question. But then I have their attention. And I said, we're here to talk about type 1 diabetes. And immediately the other 2 kids jumped up. And I know it was a bit of a eggshell situation with the child's mother. And before I could say a word, any other word, this child came to the stage and she actually started engaging. And it was such a beautiful moment because the parent wouldn't allow the spotlight to be put onto her child. But this girl was so hungry for that, and she was so open to speak about her diabetes, but the parents, they were mismanaging the situation because of what they thought would be best for their child. So I always aim to, when I leave, the child must feel like the hero. Thanks to this child, all the other kids get a toy. So it's not about me. This is the tool, but I'm the tool operator. So I give the tool, and this brings the change. So they don't have to remember my name. They don't have to remember anything about me. But if they can connect the fun that they had with their friend, thanks to the friend living with diabetes, they had a fun time. They received a cool free toy. I'm happy.
Wonderful. Lurina, thank you very much for joining us on World Diabetes Day. Thank you for letting me play with you, or you teaching me how to play the glucose glitch. We did show how to find you. If you're interested, if you want to learn more, please visit Lurina on LinkedIn, on her socials, or on her website. And maybe this will go around the world as well. Lurina, thank you very much. And say hello to your wonderful
Thank you so
husband.
much. Bye-bye, everyone.